Yummy. Hello, and this is the Brutal Bros. Today we're gonna be talking about many things. AJ's gonna be eating some slop. We may talk about the devil.
He'll probably feature at some point.
Yeah, and shout out to Grandad if you're watching.
Yes, our first loyal fan.
We've heard you've been watching. Many.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. Very cool.
Oh wait, my microphone's on the wrong side.
You're your left.
And also, musical moments are happening.
Yes. So yeah, how's everyone's week been? What have we done this week?
Can't really remember, to be honest.
Same.
We went out on the bikes, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we had a good trip to the Bahrain.
Had a good trip.
Oh yeah.
Rode down many flights of stairs.
Yeah, we did some proper skills.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, pretty good.
Mm.
You've done much, Rubens?
Yeah, a bit. I've kind of just been going for walks around the local area. There's some nice parks here. Went to a friend of mine's memorial today. Passed away recently. That was lovely. Yeah. Been enjoying the weather when it's actually nice. And yeah.
Nice.
What? What are you looking at me like for?
I don't know.
Is that noise?
What noise?
Somebody knocking on the door.
No, I think it was
no, someone else probably.
I think it was my conch.
Oh.
Your
okay.
conch acclimatizing to the temperatures.
No, it's blonking when it goes down the cup.
Blonking.
Blonking. I've never heard that before.
Oh man.
Ooh, let's
So anything we're looking forward to?
Probably no, not much.
We're going camping soon, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should be.
I'm finally. I've got an idea of when I'm going back to work. I'm going to do some exciting musical things in another city. But that's all for the future. We're crikey, not quite quiet at the moment.
I'm just not conch.
Our such a professional big band. Totally don't play in shed.
I went to Lidl today. And,
Oh, did you?
And it's disgusting because they've
Wow.
changed everything around.
Oh, it's
And
really
all I
annoying.
saw was negativity because the queue was like a mile long to get in, and then I walked in and my conch wasn't in the same place as it usually is. I mean, at least the sweets are. I walked down one aisle and I find I'm in like the toiletry aisle, and I'm like, "Where's the conch?"
Oh no! Do you not look at the signs? No,
No, because I'm just like, I
Have
walk
they
in the, I
built
walk
the
in the
aisles
shop, get my
before
conch
doing the
and go.
signposting?
Yeah, usually it's where I think it is, but everything was rearranged, and I had to find the conch in a different place, which just ruined my day. I remember the queue for the checkout was so long.
You did look pretty stressed when you came
I
home.
mean,
It was disgusting.
I used to work in a supermarket like that,
I was like,
and the one week, loads of people came in and were like, "Where's this? You've moved this?" I'm like, "Yes," because I was the specific staff member who personally moved it.
Yeah.
I literally taken everything off the shelf, taken all the signs down, moved everything from that aisle to a completely separate area of the shop.
I did notice something that people were actually social distancing in the queues.
Oh, good, because people weren't yesterday.
Although some people weren't moving, I kind of just had to stand there awkwardly for a bit so I could get my
Get out of the way!
39p chocolate.
That cheap chocolate's nice though.
It is
39p
good.
chocolate and 39p Coke.
Bless the Lord for his. That's
Cheap chocolate.
88p altogether.
Praise the Lord.
That's quite good.
Wait, it can't have been then because it came to 69p. Must have been cheaper.
69.
So,
Yeah, I think then
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Something.
Skid boy.
I can't.
we've
maths.
me and
I can't
Levi.
maths. Quick maths.
Mainly Levis.
Perfect.
We've yeah. Speaking of quick maths, in fact, we have mainly Levis. We've put together another of our musical moments.
AJ hasn't heard.
Not yet.
Maybe there wasn't a couple of rooms going to do, but maybe we could do that another time together.
Maybe when I'm feeling a bit more like Mike Love, I might attempt.
So
to
we decided to feature. You'll be able to hear his high pitched voice at the end.
Yeah, this is Master Levis featuring Papa Ruby, or Rapper PB in this case.
It's called "Man's Not Hot" by Big Shaq.
Oh, no.
Because this song is such.
You must know it. If
such
you're
a-
under like
such a cringy
30,
banger.
you probably know it.
Oh, you
I
can't-
know this. Because I worked in a place where we played Radio 1.
It's pretty
When
funny
this-
though.
when
It's a
this
joke
was
song. It
released.
makes fun of it.
No, I actually quite like that song.
Yeah, but
Because it's
now
a-
you can see me doing it.
I like a bit of that sort of stuff.
Oh no. Right, am I playing this now? You can have a brutal
I think
points
it's time to
rating as
play.
well.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Out of 24 this time.
24.
Yeah, I want to change it up a little
That's
bit.
pretty decent. What about out of the alphabet? Okay, ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Yo, Big Shot, the one and only. You monster all, never home. Yeah. 2 + 2 is 4. 1 is 1. Everything went quack, quack, quack. Reuben and Levi. Hold tight, Ashley, my brother. He's got something for big tip. Hold tight, man. My God, he's got the frisbee. Check, check on the phone.
What's that?
Even that cool
Random lyrics, please, sorry.
Rice Krispies. Hold tight, I got wood. My G on the road doing 10 toes. That my toes. Now, I promise. I still can't go that I put. She ain't one of my cooks. Look at the nose. Check your nose, fam.
Reuben.
Like God.
Nah, it's for me.
Said that man's not hot.
Reuben just off the ear.
Said that man's not hot. The girl told me to take the topic. I said, hey, man's not hot, never hot. Said that man's not hot, never hot. Man's not hot, never hot. The girl told me to take off your jacket. I said, hey, man's not hot, never hot. Pop out the 4-door with a 4-4 with the coffee, tea, and us, man. Yo, that is full.
This is excellent.
Look at him, still call it man for a fool. Look at him. I see him. Under his big his jaw finished. Big man's took by force. Take it, send man shot by force. Center. The girl knows I got the sauce. Black thin, no ketchup. None, just sauce. Saucy. No sauce. Ah, yo. Boom.
Here we go.
Fingers.
I'm not going to hear Reuben.
And a boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Reuben.
What? The extra part is...
Is this Reuben?
No. Well, yeah, a little bit of him. So you can hear him. Reuben's bit's coming up. He just improvises though.
I can't wait.
I had to learn all these blooming lyrics.
Okay.
This is Reuben.
He's never ever hot. Master Levis. Big shot. What a big shit.
Wow.
For George.
This is incredible.
The balls are never joyful.
Eight. Oh no. Well then. Well then, well then, well then.
Round of applause,
What is
please.
what is the verdict for Mr. Bocello?
There's your round of applause.
The world's
Just
smallest
one
violin playing just for the waitresses.
Oh, Levis is not hot.
It
I had
was,
to learn all this.
it was pretty special, Levi. I'll say that.
I spent like a week learning all the.
Well, was it worth it? Possibly.
It was a bit fun.
It was possibly worth it. I think it was good. Could have done with a few more blast beats, and
You can't.
yeah, I'm gonna give it my rating now.
Out of
I
20,
don't know
yeah.
how much my brain is pretty. I'm pretty brain dead right now.
Is this
I've
20?
had a few too many falls off my bike.
Oh dear. You've
Is
been
this
huffing
20
glue
brutal
again.
bro? Out of 20 brutal bro points.
24.
24.
Yeah.
Wow, I like the number.
It's a good number.
Your dad is 24.
But that is 44.
Okay, 44 then, so it's relevant.
Do
Yeah.
some quick maths.
2
Right,
plus 2 plus 4.
I'll give it a. I'll give it a 38.92.
Oh!
Okay, I'll take that.
44, I think.
Hey, you did it in
Points.
2.1.
200.
Well, look at that. You're
points.
faster than
Ah!
Simon Pegg. I don't know.
No!
You did it in 20 minutes.
That'll take a
I think
while.
the slowest ever lap was something like 4 minutes.
There's no way.
It was like some really famous actor, like Sir, I don't know,
Oh, on the Grand
What are you
Tour.
talking
Bruce Forsyth was
On the
on
Grand
Top
Tour.
Gear. This is on Top Gear.
We went on the Grand Tour. They had Anthony. On the Grand Tour, they had Anthony Joshua and this wrestler. He's bald. It's a WWE wrestler. I forgot what he's called. Though.
Batista,
No,
The Rock.
no, definitely not The Rock. He's cooler than him. Oh, well,
Big
anyways,
Show.
well, they were both on
The
it.
man
and,
with the 3 H's.
the boxer beat him.
Oh man.
Oh, Mr. T.
I don't
He doesn't do WWE.
Hulk
No.
Hogan did.
I've only ever watched like one WWE.
I love WWE. I love the WWE.
You love him so much. You brought me a WWE t-shirt.
I did. I was
Come
I,
on.
nearly, I nearly got you. The John Cena kit was like the hat, the t-shirt, and the wristband.
You
I would
should.
have just not worn it at all.
You wore it on your bike, it would match the colours.
Actually, yeah. No, my bike is green and black.
Yeah, his colours are green, aren't they?
It's like
No.
green, orange,
Are they?
purple.
Oh. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I don't really know.
So
much
that
about
was
some
very
things.
musical.
No, he sings.
Does he?
John Cena.
John Cena.
Da, 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 da.
What's is that? Cause he sings his own theme song, doesn't he?
Does he?
The time is now. Yo yo yo, Mr. Cena on the mic.
Oh, so. What time is it?
The time. It
What
is
time?
time
Wait,
to
Okay.
be
It's time for.
Joy Borge.
can you give me the
Oh, no.
Can you give me the
Oh.
movement papers?
The movement papers, the minutes.
Just give me some. It's papers. Very.
So me and Levis had a discussion the other day about music. We were sort of saying the idea that metal is the devil's music.
Right.
Like two things, right? One, that's alright.
Well, you don't like
Isn't it?
metal.
I do.
Well, yeah, I know we do, but what
Fine
if
by
you don't?
me. I don't know.
It only really matters if you're heavily religious.
So, well, three things actually. The second being, if you really like heavy metal music, is it that bad? Because if you hate it, then yeah, it would be your idea of hell. To me, my idea of hell would just be a massive electro swing rave. That would be horrible.
Electro swing.
You like
hate
you really
electro
wanted to go
swing.
to a
What is
rave.
that?
I'm not, it's kind of like, it's literally what it sounds like. It's just swing music with like drops and dubstep breakdowns.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Is that an in thing right now?
it kind of is and it isn't. I kind of,
It's called house.
I also knew a guy who was really
Oh,
into it
house.
and he was really
House is
irritated.
good.
It's
Some of
not,
it
it's
anyway.
not house.
Not all of it.
It's different to house.
Right, because you like
Um,
house.
I do like house. I'm quite fond of
House
house.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty like-
The third thing was not that, but something similar.
God, your tubes are very eruptious today.
Yeah, they're very vacuous, I suppose is that the word. What was my third point?
Balls.
Oh yeah. How do we know?
That's the best way to end a rap.
Yeah. How do we know that's what the devil likes? For all we know, he
How do
might
you know
like.
the devil exists?
Well, that's another point entirely. But that,
I mean,
you know,
This whole conversation is.
he might like smooth jazz.
but the weird thing is, the ironic
Juice
thing
mouth.
is, to me,
Music might not be a thing.
you think of like pop music, which is all manufactured in order to make the music's like a lot of it is it's not really like written. It's more sort of
Determined.
well, it's not really like music. It's not coming from a place. Within.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get one big like
They
the
don't do it for
originator,
them, they
the
do it
one.
for the people who listen.
Well, they do it to make money.
Yeah.
You kind of always
Whatever
with
music
these
you
like
listen to.
trends, you kind of get one massive originator. Like for example, "Smells Like Teen Spirit" comes out, right? Like it or not, that was popular. It was in the pop sort of
Yeah.
universe when it came out. It was part of that world. It was in the
What I'm
charts.
very annoyed about.
And then suddenly by the time 5 years after that song came out, Kurt Cobain has already passed away. But every other band, I've got long, straggly, greasy blonde hair. They sing like this, and like it's kind of like grungy sort of lyrics. But each new band gets more and more sort of watered down and crap. Same with new metal. When it first started, bands like Korn and Slipknot and Sepultura kind of moved more towards that sort of
System of a Down.
genre. System of a Down is a great example. It was really cool when it started. Then you had bands like Limp Bizkit and like Mudvayne and like Disturbed. It just got slowly more and more shit.
Mudvayne's name just
Yeah.
makes me. Ugh.
Godsmack are pretty terrible. What was the? I quite like Static X. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. They're just fun. It's like disco.
Rage
metal.
Against the Machine are good. They're not exactly record. They're quite similar.
Well, they were kind of the first.
They're a bit more like. They're a bit like.
It's the same sort of deal with
Soft version of
like Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath are like the first sort of doom metal band, but I wouldn't call them a doom band. You see what I mean? They kind of started off that whole thing.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
They're very influential, like to that genre.
They totally influenced. the
Yeah,
genre.
same. Iron Maiden really heavily influenced power metal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them a power metal band.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
When-
Motorhead really inspired thrash. They're not a thrash band. Or really a hardcore punk band either.
No, it's sort of speed metal. That's what we're.
I think it's just heavy metal.
I
Well, the Lemmy was called rock and roll, didn't he?
Yeah. I think sort of. Yeah, heavy metal slash. I think speed metal is what some people call it. Like, but that's more of an old school like.
Isn't speed metal
terminology.
speedy though?
Yeah, like Motorhead.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing,
class.
because people
We've gone off
compared to something like Black Sabbath. or
people
something.
called Painkiller by Judas Priest when it came out speed metal.
Yeah.
I didn't realise the drummer on that album, Scott Travis, used to be in Racer X, and I kind of thought, oh, fair enough. And then they are very fast
Right.
with Paul Gilbert on guitar. They're crazy shredding.
So what does the devil listen to?
Robert Johnson.
Yeah,
I think that's been established, hasn't it?
Yeah, okay, that boom
Meeting at
done.
the crossroads, Robert Johnson. If I go to hell and they're playing Robert Johnson all night, I'm like, this is fine. I can just sit, drink whiskey.
And that might even be a hell. Like, what do you think the after? You know, what would afterlife be?
Well, that's a very good question.
Even
See,
though-
I think that if there is to be an afterlife, my theory, more so how I would design the afterlife, if I was the architect of the afterlife, my idea would be different levels. So if you're like a complete bellend and you know you're a bit of a knob, you skip queues, you don't say thank you to the bus driver, that sort of thing, you don't tip, then basically you would go to hell, but not a very deep level of hell. You would just go to like, okay, well your hell is you have to work in a fast food restaurant your whole life for
Well,
eternity.
that sort of it's a similar thing to what is in some Christians believe, with
Right.
varying tiers of hell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Right.
Is it Dante's Inferno?
Yes, the 7 circles. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that, yeah.
Where it's sort of like different levels of hell that you go through.
Well, that's different levels of severity.
Yeah.
Not different levels of severity of the punishment. It's more like, oh, this is where all the lustful people go, people who
Right.
cheat on their partners. This is where all the gluttonous people go, people who are greedy, don't feed the poor, who starve people while they gorge themselves. This is a place for the murderers. There's a place for like the sexual deviants, all the rest of it. But my idea is more like, if you murder children, you go straight to like you get buried under hell. Basically, you're like at the worst level.
Sure, you shouldn't be buried.
If you're a
getting
nice
killed
guy,
is not as bad as being to get punished.
well, yeah, I guess.
Cool.
But I mean, like if you're a good person, not amazing, you don't necessarily give to charity all the time, but you're really nice to people. You give yourself up for family and friends and that. You're very nice to people around you, but you don't necessarily go out of your way to try and change society. You'd go to heaven, but you'd be like, okay, well, you don't get a really nice palace. You get to live in a really nice flat, and
Yeah.
you don't have to work. You get all the money for free.
But what if
You have a nice part with a
but-
swimming pool.
But
That
what if
sounds
heaven's
pretty-
like a completely different thing? That might
That sounds pretty rubbish, man.
it just sounds like normal life. I
It's
think
about-
heaven,
the thing is,
Reuben, could be something that you can't even
It's
imagine.
meant to be eternity.
Like, it
and
might be
that's
like
the main thing for me.
Not flats.
Well,
Like there could be something completely different.
I wouldn't want to live for eternity.
Like
What-
Reuben,
what
our
gets fed
concept,
up?
heaven could be completely different concept. Like could be a completely different way of life. So it might not even be flats. It might not be living. It could be something completely
Well,
different.
this is just if me, a human,
But that
design
seems a
the
bit
afterlife,
basic.
that would be it. It would
Living
okay,
in a
what,
flat.
What
yeah.
you give in life, you get in the afterlife.
Hmm.
So if you don't want to give anything back, you've got this amazing gift being here alive in this moment. If you don't want to use it for good, then you're wasting it.
Yeah, being alive forever, though,
You're
would be a bit
wasting the
like-
gift of existing.
Even worse.
It'd be the worst.
Like,
thing.
have you ever met old people? They're always fed up with living, aren't they? They're always like, oh, I'm going to die soon, but they don't really care that much. I think you get to the point where it's like, oh god, there's not really that much to do anymore. You know, I've done everything I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really
Let's
want to
start
do much.
mountain biking.
Don't want to do much more now. I think I'm happy to die. You know, I think it does get to that point.
That's a very interesting
Well,
concept.
some people do
and I
die
won't-
like that, and they die happy.
In a book I read recently, I won't name the book because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it because it's absolutely amazing. But
Not like
at
man.
the, no, not that. At the end of the book, basically, a character is given really long life. Like I'm talking like 1,000 years, and he's miserable. He's like, oh my god, my wife's dead. All my friends are dead. My pets are all dead.
Yeah.
All my family and friends are all dead, and I'm still fucking alive.
You get new friends.
When am I going? The book basically ends like, when am I going to die?
Well, that's
And
it,
it
that's the
ends.
thing,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
god.
That is almost a concept of hell. Is living forever.
Well, yeah. yeah.
You only have a limited time on Earth, but it's hard to picture what it would be like to be
Yeah.
immortal.
Have you watched a show called The Good Place on
It's
Netflix?
terrible.
I
It's the
loved
worst.
it.
Is
Is it?
It's got the worst sense of humour, I think. It's like,
I really
Oh.
enjoyed the
I'm
whole
pretty
way
sure I've
they
seen that
dealt with
advertised. What is?
like life and death and philosophy and
It's,
stuff.
I
It's
find it-
really good.
what
It's
is
an
that
interesting
about?
concept, but terribly executed, in my opinion.
Wait, what is it? Is that? I think I'm pretty sure I've seen that advertised.
But that's just my
Basically,
opinion on it.
it's a
Oh,
show.
no, I've seen it. I've seen what it's about. I don't
It's
think
the
you can
same
give me a
person who
lecture.
did like the American version of The Office. He also did
Oh, yeah,
Brooklyn
I know,
Nine-Nine,
yeah.
stuff like that. He did a show called The Good Place. Basically, a woman dies, and the whole show is what happens to her in the afterlife. And then obviously, the concept is there's no like heaven or hell. There's no God or Satan or that. You just get the good place and the bad place, and that's
Yeah.
it. But as the show goes on, it sort of unravels the whole idea, and it doesn't work out and all the rest of it. It kind of exposes the whole idea that there's, like my overall point, the idea that there's, if you're good, go to heaven, if you're bad, go to hell. It cannot be that simple. Because
Life doesn't work that way.
someone like,
More nuanced to life
you know,
than that. I
someone
think.
who robs us, someone who murders someone, one person, does not belong in the same place as like Hitler.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's like varying degrees of bad or good.
Yeah.
It's,
You know, you get my point.
I do.
Basically.
I think, I don't know, I don't really necessarily think there's much point in worrying about it. I think there's people get too hung up on what's going to happen after their life, that they don't live their
But
life
you
in
just
the present.
enjoy what they're
Exactly,
doing in
yeah.
the moment.
If you're in my mind, I don't like the idea of the God of the Bible because I don't think you should have to really. He's sort of saying you have to worship me and all that in order to go to heaven. I think, well, if any sort of sensible God would be like, you've been a good person, you know, I don't know. If you've been a good person, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. How can you take that away from somebody just because they haven't been like worshipping you?
There's a really funny bit by a comedian where he basically he compares God to like a parent who leaves their kid alone for 5 minutes. He comes back and says, "What have you done? What's all this mess?" And he reads the Bible and he's like, "What? I never said that. What are you on about?" Because the whole theory is that humans have just written the Bible to serve their own needs.
Yeah.
And God, if there is a
God
God,
might be
will come
completely
back
different.
and be like, "What?
Well, that's
What
the thing,
the
isn't
fuck
it?
are you talking about? No, if you're a good person, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. It's that simple. I'm not that. I, being an omnipotent, infinite
Infinitely
being,
intelligent.
I don't really care if
Yeah.
a bunch of like microorganisms love me or not. You know,
Well,
I'm not that insecure.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like, at the end of the day, if God exists and he is to the sort of Bible's omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient sort of standards, I don't think he'd really mind that much that I'm not saying you're the best person in the world.
But there's the other theory that God made us and then was like, right, and just fucked off. And, but you know,
I don't really.
no offense to
necessarily
anyone
believe
listening
it.
who believe you know people believe whatever they want to believe. And they have
Yeah.
the freedom to do so.
Mm.
But I think I should be allowed to critique your belief, and I would invite other people to do the exact same to me.
Mm.
People feel absolutely free to, you know, critique and take the mickey out of my beliefs.
Well, that's how we learn.
I'm confident enough, and I don't really believe in anything, but you know, I'm confident enough that I'm not going to be shaken by just someone who wants to take this.
I enjoy having conversations that challenge my beliefs anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's how I learn and we become
That's
more...
how a species develops on a conscious level.
Exactly. That's how we become more sort of well-rounded and more intelligent people, rather than just blocking everything off and surrounding yourself
I
by
absolutely
people
agree.
who agree with you. That's how you lead to having extremism.
You go insane if everyone agreed with you.
Mm.
Because you wouldn't know what's right or wrong anymore.
Some people think that if somebody disagrees with them, they're not your friend. Like, just because they have a different belief. And I think that's dangerous. But anyway, this is a heavy subject.
Yeah.
It's like the deepest episode yet.
You would have thought our podcast meant to be a comedy.
We're half an hour in now.
Necessarily comedy. There are comedic
Now
moments
it's
in
time.
all life, isn't
I
it?
think it's time for AJ to try his concoction.
Do you reckon it's time?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
half past. This is like the
It's
general
half
time.
past.
Okay, right.
Nearly.
Well, it's half. Oh, 26 minutes.
Shall I
past.
explain the rules?
Do you want me to blow my phone myself?
I don't think you need to.
Okay,
really.
no, actually, you might need to because Alistair might be worse.
The
than
size of
Steve
it might
looks
put
like.
you off entirely.
But what you have to do,
But
right,
you're making it even worse.
what you have to do is guess what's. You have to eat the whole. You have to eat the whole little pot. Okay.
The
Spoon.
entire thing.
And you have to guess all the different ingredients that are in it.
Okay.
But you have to eat. You have to agree to eat the whole pot.
Shall I do the honours, Levi?
I will when I see it.
Reuben doesn't he? Yeah.
Do what, sir?
He has to eat the whole.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You haven't like wiped your bum.
AJ, don't be stupid. It's all edible. It's
It's
all.
all edible.
It's all
Yeah, it won't
highly
kill
edible.
you, God.
We're not
I
that brutal.
reckon there's milk.
We're not the
in there.
Dutons.
Because milk goes disgustingly with everything.
Oh, Reuben.
Can I sniff it?
You can sniff it all you
It's
like. You have to
mayonnaise.
Do what
eat
you
it.
want. Not the whole thing if you want.
There's mayonnaise, some form of pasta, like tomato.
Oh, by the way, there's this.
I can smell smoked paprika.
Oh really?
It's no paprika. in
No,
it.
it's-
I'm joking. No, Reuben, we can't tell him because he's got to guess all the ingredients.
I can smell barbecue sauce. I can smell mayonnaise.
You can see
A
it.
whiff of ketchup. Like a
I
sour.
can smell it from here.
A sour.
God.
Yeah, like a
It's
sort
just
of sour.
Levi. It's
yeah.
just fermented. You've left it there for like half
Right,
an
no,
hour.
you have to finish the whole thing, you know.
Oh
Do
no!
you agree to the challenge
Oh, it looks so grim.
for the podcast? There's
Is
not
there-
much there.
Is there honey in here?
Maybe.
We can't tell you if there's what else.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
Basically,
do this
if it's a condiment or a spread, it's gone
Right,
in.
I would recommend you just do it all quickly
Well,
so
that
you can
doesn't
get it
sound
over
too bad.
quickly.
Is there jam or?
'Cause if you do
Is
it,
it all safe?
The bucket's
if-
just there.
if you do it slowly, then you're not going to want to eat it all.
Alright.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
gross.
You want to eat it the whole? Come on, quickly, eat the whole thing. Come
Watch it.
on. Finish it quickly.
You've made a terrible. I actually like this.
Pick the spoon
No.
up, finish it then, quick.
Roll this drink.
Okay, come on, quick.
Trying to get the flavours. So I can
That's
say what
true
it is.
sweet and sour
Alright.
sauce.
Well,
Can you imagine, right, the sweet and sour sauce and the takeaway is just that? I've never had
aha. That's a clue. That's a chili seed.
a silly cheese.
What is it?
That's a Scotch bonnet chili seed from my sauce.
I'll give me.
Isn't it? Or is it from that?
Yeah, you're correct. There's all the things you've got
Well,
right
it's
part
Scotch
is there's
bonnet chili
mayonnaise,
seed.
there's barbecue sauce, there's ketchup, there's chili ketchup,
That's
Um,
funny.
and no,
There's
don't-
honey.
You've so far what you've said is everything right, and yes, we did use some of the other sauce, but there's other sauces in it too.
Yeah. Chili jam.
No.
No. Okay.
I should put some.
Also, there's you can think of it
There
could
is
be-
chili jam.
it can be no, there isn't.
I put it in.
No, it was that was the hot sauce thingy. It was
Oh,
one that AJ made.
Okay.
But there's other sauces in it too. It can be spreads as well.
Butter.
Yep.
Bovril.
Yep.
Bovril.
Yeah.
But like, they're a really tiny bit.
Tastes a little bit of beefiness.
Beef.
Are you gonna?
Is there soy sauce in
Roast
here?
beef.
No.
Okay.
Oh no, nothing. I use it on noodles.
You don't eat it so slowly, like you're going to enjoy it.
Whoa.
I need to taste it so I can tell what's in there.
Come on, there's like a few more things to get.
It tastes chocolatey.
There's no chocolate. Oh no, wait, there is chocolate. There's chocolate sauce.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't need chocolate sauce.
I can taste that.
There might be
Oh.
syrup actually. I don't know.
Strawberry
there's
sauce.
Syrup. No strawberry sauce.
That hint of chocolate goes really well with chili.
See, chili and chocolate is actually
Goes
good.
Wait,
really
there's
well
more
together.
chili stuff. Oh no.
Oh, well, my habanero, the hot
Yep.
pepper sauce, and the garlic
Yep.
one. Is
No,
that-
wait. Both of the ones that look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah. There's one more thing.
I don't remember.
There's one more thing.
One more thing.
It's another sauce.
Another.
It's another sauce. You've already had one that's a bit like it, but it is a different thing technically.
Hot chocolate powder?
No, it's a sauce. It's quite a.
Very chocolatey hints now. I'm getting like a really warm. No,
Brown sauce.
brown sauce.
Yeah.
There's brown sauce in there.
Yeah, and barbecue sauce.
I said
You-
barbecue sauce.
Yeah. That's why I said it's similar.
See,
Come on, you got it.
Brown sauce blends with the barbecue, I think,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really sort of have that strong of a.
You gotta drink it all, AJ.
But you can
Yeah.
taste the sort of
Come on,
pickly.
we want to see you gulp it.
Alright.
Just laughs a bit.
Oh no, that's not an image.
You're gonna get the scrapes out. Oh.
There you go.
That looked vile.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I think that's alright. When you wait 5 more
Sure.
I sniffed it and went, nope.
That's very interesting.
Right, I'm gonna try a little bit. We can try a little
It's
bit.
not actually that
No, I'm
bad.
not trying it. Yeah, I'm not with food. If I like it, I don't. If I don't swallow.
It's not bad
It's
actually.
not, is it?
It's just quite a bit spicy. It's not. It's kind of like a nice
The
spice.
chocolate goes really well. That chocolate sauce
Oh,
goes
yeah.
so well with that chili. You can taste the sort of hints of it.
We just got all the condiments out and just put it all in.
I
Why
think
did you like that?
I'll take a miss on the mayonnaise. That didn't go very well.
That's good. At least something didn't go well. We should just put milk, mayonnaise, and butter.
We're gonna perfect this. We're gonna call it AJ Wicello sauce.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No,
Well, it's
because
alright.
we made it.
It's not the best.
Just because he.
It could do with some fine tuning, but other than that,
Well, you can be our guinea pig. Next week, we'll try and make one that's even better.
I'll just stroke a
And
whole
you got
pot
to
of
try it on
sauce.
like a burger or something.
No, Reuben. I think we need to actually make something that Reuben, that AJ is actually gonna like.
I am gonna like.
We need to find something that he isn't. Because everything you like. We need to find something that AJ won't actually like. We need to make the
Glass.
most vile thing we can think of.
I
like-
hate mushrooms.
Butter, milk, and
Oh, there you
mushrooms
go.
mashed together.
Mashed mushrooms. Oh,
Mushrooms on their own, I can barely eat. So
I
That's
love
all
them.
I don't
it
like
is.
mushrooms.
Bit of butter, a bit of garlic in there. Delicious.
Boys, what's on the topic list?
well, that was very interesting.
Um,
I'm surprised I've got so many flavours considering like I smoke.
Well, like if you were going to make like okay, well that's a question. Actually. What would be your perfect meal? Your
cheese.
death row.
Oh no! Don't do this.
Your last meal.
Don't
Why
do
not?
this because you'll just.
I'd have every type of burger. I'd have.
I
I'd
have-
a
Chicken,
fried
beef,
like a KFC
kangaroo,
chicken burger.
dinosaur.
Yeah, then I'd eat more.
I'd have a
Until I
kangaroo burger
die.
because I've never had one before. I'd have a human burger.
I'd have a human burger.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter
Human
the
burger.
consequence.
Yeah, if I'm going to die anyway.
Where would you cut the meat off from a person?
Myself.
The ass.
I think
That
apparently
juicy
the
ass.
according to this cannibal guy, sort of
What on
video,
earth? Oh, you're talking to him on Discord.
The bum, the thighs, and the breasts are the best, are the tastiest areas.
So isn't he just chicken then?
Just you wait,
Same-
I'll
same
rather
with
not.
chicken. Oh, imagine a human leg. Oh, I've got the leg. I just saw the massive thing.
Oh my god.
I'll have the leg, mummy.
Well, are the bits that aren't very nice because they're all fat. Lots of fat. I don't know.
I'll go for the nose.
What would you
You
ask
go
for
for the
then?
nose.
No,
That's
probably
just pure cartilage.
True.
Have you discussed?
I don't know.
it?
Maybe I don't know. The leg. Chicken legs are nice.
I reckon the thigh would
Yeah, probably.
good flavour from meat.
I would just make a rump steak.
How do we start talking about how to cook human meat? How would you cook human
Cooking
meat?
people.
What would you cook it in? Like a big old pan.
You just need a human-sized pan.
Human sized pan. Just
Just
the
like-
whole
well, the
human and
thing
then
is
just
though,
chop off the bits and give
The
the rest
thing
of
is,
the
right, you're
give the
talking
rest
about
of the comment.
size. When was the last time you saw someone eat a whole cow? Because cows are gigantic.
I didn't know when he got
Well, there's that. Who's that guy? The man who never stopped eating.
What's that guy who ate a whole plate?
Back in like, in the sort of like.
Is it you?
Never
on.
stopped
Surely
eating
it's-
from what point?
Hang on a second. Surely everyone never stops eating
No, but
because no one ever stops eating
I normally
until you
go.
die.
At least once a day. Normally, sort of like. Well, in a
You don't- we
24-hour
don't need to know your
period.
diet.
Correct.
You don't need to know your diet.
No, I'm just saying, like
We don't need to
during
know.
during the 24-hour period, I probably go about 8 hours like easy.
Terror.
But
He
so,
ate a whole horse apparently.
wait, so,
Because he was like constantly hungry, so he'd eat non-stop.
so he
like,
literally never stopped. Or every second he was eating.
he just ate like constantly, so
Let's
he
see a
joined the
photo of-
military
is it-
so he could get more food. I swear he ate like a whole horse or something like that.
How did he join the military? He was that massive. He must have been humongous.
Oh, I don't think he was that.
Did he have like a
Oh my gosh, he's eating a whole rabbit there.
Yeah,
Because
he ate live animals. He also once ate a child.
Did he have to do like
He
a?
didn't. Is this a joke?
No,
Did he
You know
have
he
like
ate a
a
child.
like
a whole
a?
eel raw.
Wait, what does that say?
Did he have like a disorder,
Human
like a
egg.
gland or hormone, something that controls like hunger?
I think so, and I think the insides of him were rotting. Apparently, he smelled so bad because all of his guts were like.
No, I've
rotting.
heard of this guy. Yeah,
He's called
the
Terry.
guy who
What's he
was
called?
like-
Lawrence.
Terror.
Well,
Yeah.
when like doctors are like, and that, like, how are you still alive?
Yeah, yeah,
Your insides are just
Well,
a
people-
rotten
Wait, this
husk.
this
That's
this
it,
is
yeah.
like Victorian times though. It looks.
yeah.
Yeah.
1700s.
Wow.
People were like studying
That's
him.
pre-Victorian. That's like
Well,
He ate a
Before,
child.
yeah.
No, wait, he must have gone to prison. What? He ate a child.
well, he couldn't stop eating.
he's trying. Oh no, I can't stop. Oh.
Even there's pictures of him like drawings of him eating whole rabbits and whole mice alive. Ah, mouse.
So, like, what was his deal? What would Because obviously back then they wouldn't have diagnosed him or anything. It would have just
No.
been like, look at the freak.
He would have just been the weirdo that they would have at the circus.
Exactly, like the bearded lady or something like that. But like, what about now? Because a lot
Now
sometimes
he
it
would have
is-
been
Oh,
like
wow.
just strange.
People try and figure out what it actually
What?
would have
He,
had.
he ate a whole basket full of apples, apparently. According to this.
I can do that.
How
Whole.
big was the basket?
The whole basket.
How many apples is that? Like
Does he mean the
60?
basket as well? What do you mean? A whole basket of apples? Yeah, you could do that. I could do that.
Could you?
A whole basket of apples? How big is the basket?
He's very acidy, wasn't it? Very acidic.
I can eat
All
whole
those
apples.
Green apples.
I know. I never leave any of an apple. All of its juiciness, goodness.
When I eat an apple, I actually eat all of it on the stalk, even the core. I still eat the core.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I eat everything.
Do you actually? Because some of you are
Yeah.
like, no. Yeah,
Weird.
I eat the whole thing and then I just have the little
don't eat the
I
stalk.
just have the little stalk bit and I usually chew on that for a bit.
That's, I don't know. Imagine being that. I'm always hungry, but I'm not.
You can be him, Ajay. Well, this is your new career.
I can get full.
What are you doing?
doing?
That's not for it. Oh, I'm
Pumping
scared
iron.
you're gonna drop that and smack on my head. Have you been like Batman patrolling since the last podcast?
Yeah, been patrolling around. Been,
Batman on your bike, Mountain Man.
On your bat bike and bat pod.
Bat bike.
I'm a bat pod. Pod bat. That's what we should call this. Not a podcast.
Pod bat.
A pod bat.
The Patcast.
What's podcast backwards?
Cast pod.
Task.
No, not. What about the two letters? The two letters.
The two
Letters.
letters.
Pasked.
Top.
Cod.
Pask cop.
Podcast.
Hang on.
No.
Podcast. That'd be
No, but you
Sack up.
No. You take the two letters and change them.
Yeah,
First
sack
letter.
top.
Sack top. Yeah.
Sack top.
Sack pop. Sack.
Sack dot.
Sack top.
Maybe-
There's no D in the beginning of it.
Silent T.
Maybe
Pod.
Sack.
The first letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sack dop.
P.
Dop.
Yeah. Dop.
Dop. P-O-D. Pod. D-O-P. Dop.
Sack dop. Yeah.
See what I mean?
It is.
Wait,
sack
that is it like literally backwards.
Yeah.
Or to sack dot. It depends if you want to pronounce it.
No, but I
You
mean
wouldn't
if you
pronounce
just
it
put the
if it's
P,
this.
like we often do things, but you just put the P and the C and switch them around.
Yeah.
Not the
Dop. I
whole,
think
not,
sack dop
not the
sounds
whole
good.
world.
The
not the
brutal
whole
bro sack
word.
dop.
Cod pass.
Yeah, cod pass. That's what I'm thinking of.
Cod pass. It's time. It's past the time I eat a cod.
A cod pass. Sack dop.
Gemma's Bond.
Reuben singing is incredible.
Gemma's
You
Bond.
should do that live one day.
What on the with Rose singing?
No, when you yeah you
Oh,
sing
no,
that
no,
with your band. Go,
We're doing the
I tried to do that, didn't I?
We're doing
definitely should.
We're gonna try get to do some sketches.
Yeah, we want to do some sketches. We've got some ideas.
Sketches. We've got some filming ideas. Yeah, we got a James. It's a little preview.
James
Gemma's
Bay.
Bond. That's a preview.
Gemma's Bond.
Gemma's Bond.
Gemma's band.
Don't give
Gemma's
too much. He probably did.
Gemma's
Don't give too much of it away.
Gemma's Bond.
Why?
Some
You
guy.
want the audience to
He
be
can't
finished.
pronounce. And he's really. He pronounces his name properly. That's a sketch. She says, Gemma's Boon.
Hello,
Hello, Gemma's Boon. Boon.
Gemma's Boon.
Gemma's Boon.
Dear me.
And you're going to be in it, hopefully.
Am I?
Hopefully. No, Reuben ain't taking James Bond. You just have to put his hair up into a hat.
I don't know. I reckon other three of us Levi.
But
Yeah,
I'm,
You don't
Levi's.
reckon
But
Levi
I'm
is
the
the true
one-
James
I
Bond?
think Levi's James Bond.
but I'm the
Levi's.
guy who came up with the Gemma's Boon thing, yeah? So
Exactly,
no one
so
else
It would
can
just be in the
comment.
news that they've announced the next James Bond.
No,
Who is
because the villain who catches James Bond says that.
Yeah, no, you should be James Bond, Levi.
Right, well,
Because you look like James
well,
Bond.
no one can say that word then.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we will organise this when we film it.
Of all of
Um,
us, you look the most like.
But can you imagine that they announced, like, oh, Daniel Craig stepping
I've
down?
never seen it.
Who is it going to be? Is it going to be,
It's going to be Gemma's Boon.
who was the African American fella? Well, he's English, but black.
George Clooney?
George Clooney.
He was rumoured to be playing James Bond,
A black lady?
the black guy. It was going to be the first black James Bond.
Samuel L. Jackson?
No, that would be cool.
Will Smith?
No.
It's called Men in Black.
He's an English guy.
M. Night Shyamalan?
He's not English or black.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh.
He's like Asian. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't really know of any actors.
He was also in the last Fast and Furious film. The one.
Furious and Fast.
No, the spin-off where it's just The Rock and Jason
Reuben,
Statham.
what are you talking about? I've lost you.
Um,
You haven't seen James Bond.
I've completely forgotten his name now.
What about you ever watch James Bond?
No, I've seen other things. Something. He was in. I was
Martin-
in
no.
Luther.
Why would he be black for? 'Cause James Bond's white.
What did you
Exactly.
Well, it's meant to be the same person.
Yeah,
throughout
George's
the
meant to be the
whole
same
thing,
person.
isn't it?
People,
Well-
people usually don't just change colours.
See, I thought.
This you go.
He's meant to be
a
the
theory
same
I
guy.
saw read is James Bond itself is a code name. That's not his real name. That's why there's so many different people who've been called James Bond over like 50 years.
Well, probably because 20
They're
films.
all.
Some of the actors probably would have just got bored.
Well, it's always a time rule like that with the Doctor.
It was meant to be the same guy. Why don't they just use the same actor for like at least 2 films?
Because Sean Connery didn't want to do it anymore. Also, Sean Connery's like.
Don't they
90
change the
at
actor
time.
every film though?
No.
They changed
Oh,
the
good.
actor every sort of like 4 or 5 films.
Like Roger Moore had loads. Like he did loads and loads of James Bonds. They're my favourite ones. I think they're pretty good.
Why do they make so many James Boons?
Because they're good films. They're very formulaic. And they're very sort of. I don't know, but
They're supposed to be fun.
they
aren't
just
they?
work. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be taken that seriously. If you do it with James Bond, you won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as.
I
We
agree.
may have guests on some next few podcasts. You doing
I
all
don't
that?
know.
Well, have a look. I'm trying to find. I look at this actor. It's really annoying me now.
What are you looking
What the guy's name was?
You might have Grandad, won't you?
Got Grandad of James Bond.
No, Grandad coming on the
But anyway,
podcast
like, my point was
was James Boone.
they announced who is it? It's not Daniel Craig. Who's it going to be? Then Levi rocks up. He's like, Levi Spry. And they're like,
Master Levis!
Master
And then it cuts to you saying, Master Levis! Yeah, boy.
You were saying, Levi, I interrupted you. About Grandad.
Yeah, well, not much, she's just joining it. Because we need guests, because to make it more interesting.
Your grandpapa.
We were gonna, he's got lots of interesting stories, and he's had like some of the most, he's been to like one of the world's biggest concerts, hasn't he? World's biggest concert, one of the world's biggest bands. We could interview him about that. Also, he loves
Idris Elba.
He loves
That
geography
was
as
his
well,
name.
so we can
Oh,
ask him
yeah,
about some
I know
geography
him.
questions.
I know him.
What does he look like?
I personally
not
think
Asian.
a black James Bond would be cool.
I think
But-
he'd work.
But I
Have
know
you
who he
seen
is. Yeah,
a
he looks pretty
comedian?
like he looks.
Have you seen a comedian called Trevor Noah?
No.
No.
You can get away with it because he's South African himself and he's also black, or mixed race, I think he is. So you can get away with saying this sort of thing. He was saying, I don't think there should be a black James Bond. And the reason being, say James Bond goes to lots of exotic countries, right? Say he's in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, say he's in, a really predominantly white country like Scotland. And they go, where's he gone? There he is! And they just catch him immediately. Like,
Okay, that's
see what I
that's
mean?
a bit.
It's
Yeah, I
not.
guess.
I don't think it's racist or discriminatory. It's just sort of like, yeah, that does make sense. They would just immediately see it.
I think the thing is as well with James Bond is he's meant to be that stereotypical English person, like the stereotypical British high
Yeah.
class, like The sort of person who
I
would
mean-
try and go, oh, yeah, sort of, yeah.
He's just like Batman, really. Isn't
That's
he?
sort of how
A
he
counter
acts.
to that argument would be, for example, a character who's very similar to James Bond, Indiana Jones.
Mm.
When the Nazis are looking for him in that Arab market in the first film, they're like, oh, where is he? Well, he's the only white American male for miles, so probably that guy sat over there.
Well, it's the same, like, when he goes to different countries, like a lot, James Bond.
He does, yeah.
Um,
So he's in Asia. Where is he?
oh.
There he is.
It's
He's
like,
the only Scottish white person here. Everyone else is Asian.
it's like a white guy, especially, he's like, oh, look, a guy in a white suit, he looks completely different to everybody.
If I was James Boone, I would try to wear. If I went to a country, you'd have to try to dress as everyone else.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of being a secret agent if you're not secret?
Exactly.
Well,
If
that's
we're
the
not-
point of James Bond, though, isn't it? He's like the worst agent ever.
No, that's what's he called?
It's not the point of James
what's
Bond.
it called?
It is
Guy,
sort of like
Mr.
that.
Bean. Who's Mr. Bean? Johnny English. Oh, Johnny English is great.
And that's sort of what James Bond is. It's like a really terrible.
Maybe it's meant to be like a parody to James Bond.
It is. That's the whole point. That's
Yeah.
What,
Oh,
that's-
right. Well,
I
If
think
you're
that's the whole point of
a
Johnny
big
English.
fan of James Bond, Major, I would definitely recommend the show Archer,
Right.
the animated series about a
Oh,
spy
no.
called Sterling Archer. The idea is that the writers sat down and kind of went, what if James Bond was an actual real person? What would he actually be like? And the answer is a massive bellend. He just goes around, sleeps with everyone in the office who's female. Is really sexist, is horrible to his boss and his co-workers and his butler, and he gets like a new company car one day and it comes in like a built-in bar. He's a massive alcoholic.
What?
He drinks all the time. One of my favourite lines in the entire show is he goes, if I stopped drinking now, the combined hangover might kill me. Yeah, he's just a massive prick. Like, if they took the concept of James Bond as an actual human being to its absolute, like, final level,
Right.
to its most extreme, he would just be a complete knob. And he's a horrible person, and everyone hates him. And the best thing about it is, he's absolutely terrible at his job. The only reason he keeps being, like, the world's most famous spy, which in itself is stupid, is because his mum is the boss of the agency.
Really?
And it's great because the first 6 seasons or so, the agency he works for are called ISIS. And they had to change it for obvious reasons. And later on they go, oh, we had to change the name of our company. Who would have thought the name ISIS would be associated with something bad?
ISIS.
oh, that's what James Bond looks like. He looks like Johnny English.
That's the current James Bond. But that's I see. Is that what? No, it's Pierce Brosnan.
The current James Bond's
See,
terrible.
people don't like Pierce Brosnan. I think he was probably the closest to what Bond would
But
actually.
you haven't seen all the
actually
other
is.
ones, Ruben.
I've seen enough of him to kind of go, there. That's
You haven't seen
James
all the
Bond.
other James Bonds, though.
No, I know, but I've seen some of them.
Right, but you
I've seen enough.
make a valid decision until
He's
you've
on-
seen all of them.
Whatever.
I stopped
But-
watching them.
But do you know? Okay, so AJ, you've seen the Pierce Brosnan ones, right?
I've seen every James Bond film.
Well, there you
Whoa.
go. Like
Apart from-
And what's the best
GoldenEye,
James
like,
Bond?
Apart from the new, a few of the new ones.
Oh, like
terrible.
Spectre and that. I haven't seen Spectre.
I've seen Spectre and I've seen Skyfall and I've seen the other one, but I haven't seen
Quantum
it.
of Solace,
Yeah, I think I've seen
Casino
it.
Royale.
But I don't think he's very good. Daniel Craig.
I
He's
quite like him.
terrible.
But no, like Pierce Brosnan was just sort of like, yeah.
He's pretty good, James Bond. I
He's
think.
people say I don't like him. He's a cheesy, suave dickhead. I'm like, yes, that's what James Bond is supposed to be.
Dressed
yeah,
to
exactly.
kill.
He's really cheesy. Yes, that's because James Bond is cheesy.
Well, that is the whole point of James Bond.
Yeah, it's meant to be cheesy. You didn't take it seriously.
Well, I don't know, James Bond shouldn't be like this heroic. I don't think James Bond should be this. Oh, I'm a feminist sort of person. Because that's not what James Bond is. The whole
He's a
point,
prick,
the
isn't he?
reason why James Bond is great is because he's the sleaziest person, and everybody knows it. Like
Yeah.
even the people like he sleeps with or whatever, they take advantage of him a lot. A lot of the films. I don't know about the Pierce Brosnan ones, but and the Roger Moore ones anyway. Like, most of the films he gets like taken advantage of. Like
Well, it's because he's.
then it makes
did
it
you
funny,
did you
know
read
what I
about the doctor's analysis of James Bond?
mean? Right.
He should be dead. The amount of alcohol he drinks regularly would not only basically he can never drive again because he's constantly drunk, and he'd be dead by the time he's like 40 because that's from like
Really?
severe liver damage. Yeah, well the amount he drinks in the books and the amount he smokes as well. Not to mention all the many fights he's been in, all the torture he's gone through. It's like you
Yeah.
shouldn't really be able to survive all this and not be like really fucked up. But they said that about Indiana Jones as well. Indiana Jones is realistic. By the time
Yeah.
you get to the fourth film and he's really old, his face should be all disfigured from getting punched so many times, and he probably would have died of some like obscure jungle disease.
Funny thing,
Like Rocky ain't a pretty fella, is he?
No.
He's not that bad.
At least they're fairly realistic. But by the fifth film, it's like, mate, you've got brain damage. You need to stop.
I've had a brutal bro idea.
Brutal idea.
We could do. We should do live stream one day. You can live stream on YouTube,
A live stream.
right? We should do a live stream concert. It would be hilarious. We could make a bunch of crappy songs. We could play all the songs that we've played on our musical moments.
But we can
so-
only make crappy songs.
Reuben, we could
Yeah.
play all of the ones that we've done from musical moments on like one big concert.
Oh yes.
We could do like live amazing music moments. It'd be so fun.
Almost like a panel.
Well, just a thing where we just do a bunch of random music stuff.
That could be quite fun.
And we can just make music.
Do you remember last week I mentioned about generations,
Oh yeah.
the generational gap and things like that?
Yeah.
And I said this week I'd try and find out. I was looking up like what generation I am. Because someone suggested a sort of micro generation in between millennials and Levi's generation.
Right.
So born in 1996 to about 99. And I found out the term for that is zillennials.
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 So you're not the Eminem.
Officially yes, but no.
So
Well,
we-
yes,
are we
but
both-
actually no.
Ruben, you just tried to find some way so you didn't have to be called one. Just accept it, Ruben.
Oh, I didn't make
Just
it up.
accept
This is someone
it.
else's doing.
Just
I am a
accept
millennial.
it.
Officially, I am a
Bro,
millennial.
then just accept it.
I am.
But you're trying to find little
but this
little
is-
ways through it.
No, I find this genuinely fascinating.
But I
'cause
don't.
they said the idea of zillennials is you're like
It's a little toy.
you're old enough to have lived through things like the millennium and 9/11 and that, but you're not old enough to remember it. I don't remember 9/11 at all. I don't remember the New Year's in 2000. I have no recollection of that. I've been told I was taken, I think, up on the hoe and watched the fireworks. But I don't remember it.
There was a
at all.
band playing as well on the dance set.
Yeah, I have no memory of that
I
whatsoever.
never thought the world was going to end.
Same. Well, I watched
Um,
9/11.
Yeah, I don't
And
remember either.
I watched it like while it was live on TV.
Man.
I like the whole news thing.
But
Yeah,
like, how did,
apparently. But then, I don't know. I
how
was
old are you then?
very young.
So you don't
I
remember it?
remember it.
wasn't it?
So you don't actually remember it? It was
Yeah, not
2001.
at all. I
Oh,
don't remember a slight 1 second of it. And that's the thing, like, it's pointless.
Wait, if it wasn't on the news, or it wasn't like broadcast anymore, you would have forgot it completely.
I
Isn't that a
think,
weird
like,
thought,
Britain's
Ruben?
a weird
Ruben, just
thought,
think of that, right?
Yeah.
If that was never like on the news or anything,
Whoever talked
you
about
would have never, you would have been forgotten completely forever.
My
It's so
first memory of
weird.
knowing about it was like a couple of years after the fact.
Something
when
never would have
George
happened.
Bush had just gotten re-elected, and they were talking about bombing the Arab countries, well, where they thought Bin Laden might be hiding.
Yeah.
I was watching the news, going like, "Holy shit, this is nuts."
What year was that? 2000.
That would have been like 2003 or 2, something like that. That sort of time.
You're on the fence to sort of remember that sort of thing.
Yeah. But then I think at the time I wouldn't have watched
Was
it on
there
the
a
news.
war or was
But I
there
think my
not?
parents would have let me. It's not something you need to really be showing a 5, 6-year-old, is it? They don't need to know.
But I'll sort of watch some of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Was there
I think,
actually? There wasn't a war. Was there?
The war on terror, yeah.
Did I?
Because straight
Or
after that,
was it just America
immediately
and
after that, yeah, America invaded Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's a good thing is a completely
I
different debate for I think a different podcast.
Yeah, that's just getting a bit political.
But you know, but yeah, like at the same time as that, there also someone put this really well. They said we've seen the most amount of technological change in the shortest time for any generation.
I was looking at something about this. I was looking at a thing about computers.
Okay.
About how computers have like come over the years, and but they're at the stage of a computer where there's not actually there's not actually that much more they can do. And he was explaining about how that people may think that we've peaked and that's it, and we've got
So just
the
make
best
it smaller and
technology.
faster, and that's it.
But actually, what they're doing now is they've made this new computer, and there's a term for it, I forgot, where it's a completely different like engine
Right.
of a computer, so it's not even really like a computer anymore. it's made completely different, because the computers, like, that were made all started from the guy who made the first computer, really.
Mm.
But they've started again, so now they can still keep getting better at technology rather than just keep making the same way of computer. They have to start from scratch.
That's a very interesting point. Like thinking about we've peaked. A lot of people out for every generation have thought that. Like, people have thought when we've made a car.
But they were
It's
saying,
like, oh look, we this is probably the most advanced we'll ever get when they first like
but you know,
invented the car. You know what I mean?
In a
And
way,
apparently for the
they
first
were
time
right
in like
then,
50
because
years,
aerospace.
I think it's called the Moore's law now doesn't abide anymore.
Oh, what's the Moore's law?
Something about computers.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, for the first
Moore's law or
time,
the
they've
Moore's law?
actually peaked how much they can do with just that first way of making a computer.
Just a microprocessor.
And that's
or
the
a
first time
CPU.
that's ever happened.
That's pretty interesting.
And
But in a way, though, like you're saying, AJ, about cars, in a way they were right, because yeah, they made them more aerodynamic, they go a hell of a lot faster.
yeah.
what
More
is that
people
to
in or
do?
less people in, designed for specific purposes. But at the end of the day, it's still a metal box on four wheels.
They're
They weren't
driving
just
cars.
talking
really-
The
the
cars can
design
drive
of the
themselves
wheels
now.
never
Don't
changed.
They
Cars
weren't
can
just
drive
talking about
themselves.
cars,
Don't know what
They were
else
like
is
saying
going
as the whole, like, oh look, this is probably like the best we're at. It's like, oh look, we've invented everything back. Oh yeah, they said we've invented everything that can be invented now.
I mean,
You know,
to be honest,
back-
after the
back
invention
then,
of
you know
things
what I
like the camera and like the computer,
Mm.
everything else has just spawned from that.
Oh, another fact.
Well, the computer was like much later on though, than the camera and stuff like that.
Right, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Did you, also apparently the computer that sent Apollo and like when they first went to the moon, to space, was about as powerful as the average calculator we have today.
It's ridiculous.
And your phone is like, something loads more
Well,
powerful.
this is
than-
how privileged these fucking, you know,
And we've had them.
these kids are using their Snapchat. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
to take a selfie of your mates in the Spoon's bathroom takes more power than to send a bloke to the moon.
Yeah.
What has happened to society?
And apparently
Society is doomed.
the last
it's not.
50 the last 50
That's
years
insane.
the last 50 years
It
has
is
had
crazy.
the biggest burst in technology, and they estimate that,
Oh,
that there might
absolutely.
not be that big of a like a step forward in a while
No,
now
well,
to
this
come,
is-
because those last 50 years
Technology is one thing.
a
but
lot has happened.
Society is a whole thing that
Society
is
has
the main thing.
always been progressing now. I think. I don't think it's ever going to slow down.
No.
Because it just
Humans
it
will keep
just
evolving,
speeds up.
won't they?
We are all on a train that's constantly moving forward. We just keep getting faster and faster and faster.
We'll just
Until
slow down,
eventually
actually.
we're going to hit the wall, we'll all die. We will cause our. Oh, that's what I reckon. We're going to cause our own extinction, like the idiot we are.
Oh,
we
the
will.
first guy who made a computer estimated that there would only need to be 5 computers in the whole world. And now, apparently, there's, I think it was like 2. He literally was just like a stupid number, like zillion or something. He said, yeah, it sounds like a number that a 5-year-old has come up with to win an argument. Because it was like,
How many
zillion or something.
computers do you think there are in the world, Timmy?
I don't know. 4. Yeah, he just thought, there only need to be 5 computers in the world.
That's really crazy.
And now, literally, like, every household has a computer.
That's where technology, right? The same, a very similar thing. Like you were saying, that stretch of evolution technology in the last 50 years is much higher than any other sort of stretch would ever be, right?
Yeah.
It's this very similar thing with the Zillennial idea that the amount of stuff we've seen change in terms of just technology is much higher than any other generation will ever have. Because you think your generation, Levi, you were born sort of like the golden age of the DVD. Right? Everyone was buying DVD.
Only
then.
2000.
Everyone was like, well, mid 2000s, 2006.
Yeah.
Everyone had the internet, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
massive thing. You were born very soon before the social media explosion. Facebook did exist, I'm pretty sure, when you were
But I
born,
can still
but
remember
it wasn't that massive.
videos. I still remember going using.
Yeah, but you, Levi, have seen the smartphone get invented. You've seen 3D TVs become widely available. You've seen the internet grow. You've seen social media basically come into
too
being.
much, really.
I think the crazy.
But the thing is, though, right, with that, you've gone from we all buy DVDs, so now we can all just stream everything on an app on the screen that's literally like less than a foot away from my face right now.
Yeah.
Whereas I have gone from not even having the internet at all to you have to plug in the internet.
Google wasn't. Was Google?
Yeah, Google's
We
been
didn't
around.
have Google.
But we
back
never
then.
used
It
it.
existed, we didn't have
I
it.
didn't even know what Google was till I was probably about 8.
My generation has gone from if you wanted to listen to a song, you had to go and buy the whole album on CD at your Virgin Megastore or wherever you
That's the
buy
only thing
CDs
you
from.
have to.
Yep, if you wanted to listen to something, you had to go out and buy it,
I'm
you could-
getting
or
CDs.
hope it was on YouTube. Which, when I was very little, didn't even exist. There was no such thing as YouTube back in like
What year did YouTube come out again?
2003 or something, 2005 or 6, I think it was.
The
I want to
first YouTube
say
video, have you
maybe
seen it?
2004.
Yeah.
But
The
I
elephant
started
thing.
using the internet around about 2001, 2, 3, that sort of time. When to use the internet, you had to plug it into a phone. You'd have the awful like noise every time you wanted to use anything.
Well, I used to use the internet.
It would
on my
take
DM.
like half
Sounds
an hour
crazy.
to load a 5-minute video. It was
On
ridiculous.
the old YouTube.
And
used
if
to
anyone
look
wanted to make a phone call, that was the end of that. It was just, or if someone tripped over the wire, you'd trail in front
I
of
think
the
there
whole
are
house.
unnecessary updates though.
Like,
There are many
like,
unnecessary updates. Like you did this, like sometimes on YouTube there's unnecessary
I
updates.
preferred the old like
It
20,
was way simpler
2010, 20, that sort of age of YouTube.
They didn't need to change it.
It's so much more simple.
People get used to it and then they change it and it just makes
Well, the
it
thing
harder
is,
to use.
YouTube used to be YouTube. It was a personal. Oh, look, it's a person making
Yeah.
a video.
Social media.
Now it's completely, entirely commercialised.
well, that's a good comparison to make.
people
'cause
make
you're-
make a living off it.
I feel like for you, Levi, the biggest thing online, or the biggest sort of technological evolution in your generation is social media. Whereas my generation had the internet as a concept in itself. The entire internet sort of got invented when I was
Yeah.
with it. Sort of became what it is today. Before Facebook, before YouTube, before Snapchat, before any of that.
It's very interesting to think all these things.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting to think, personally, the newer generation, and even people who are older than me, don't
Yeah.
seem to have any grasp of the fact that how privileged they are
Yeah,
with what we have, and also, like, that. How do you like somebody won't have the internet for like an hour and they'll be like, you know? But it's like,
Well,
how do you
see,
think?
like,
How do
you
you
know,
think people live? Before,
yeah, certain
before that?
people
It's
like,
come
our-
on,
our
you
grandparents
do you
probably
have to be on your phone? at
Certain,
all
yeah,
times?
like
How sad
where
would your life
sometimes
be?
when
If that's the biggest problem.
I don't
in
even-
life, how?
if I'm enjoying
what?
myself, I don't need it.
I don't. Sometimes
Exactly.
I
Like
don't.
there are
I
certain
don't
people,
pursue it,
which
you know?
I'm sure you're, who they can't not use it, and like you'll be on like a walk,
Yeah.
or like someone could be walking around the woods and they're just like,
It's like, you're out
why
in
did you come?
nature.
But-
Enjoy it. It's not going to be
Yeah.
there much longer.
no, I need to take a
Burn
photo of
all
it on
of
Snapchat. It's like, no, you don't.
The thing is, I'd
You have
rather
a
see-
mind.
Like some people, it seems like the mindset is I'd rather see somebody else having fun. and
Exactly.
Enjoy myself. Enjoy my life.
You should have it.
my own.
You
You know.
should look at people having fun and then try it yourself. Like,
Well, like, that's the
YouTube
thing,
is
right?
good for it.
Because
You
our
get inspired from
grandparents,
YouTube.
yeah, exactly. Our grandparents would have played with like marbles in the street or like
Yeah.
a stick. Here's a fun game. Throw the
Yeah, Granny
stick.
used to just get a stick and then they'd play cowboy and Indians and just a feather in their hair.
No,
That's it.
Now,
Whole day sorted.
every like 10-year-old, anyone above the age of like 9 has a like the suppository of all recorded human knowledge in their pocket, and they use it to take photos of their food. It's
If you're
beyond-
9, I mean that's alright.
It takes
like,
white privilege to a new level.
Anyways,
Well,
anyways,
any privilege, but you know what I mean.
Before we like run out of time completely, we're gonna
Finish on a high note. I've got a challenge for you two.
I just
Oh. Okay.
we're
You
gonna make the brutal
have to come up
sports.
with a new extreme sport.
Got to be brutal though, hasn't it?
Brutal, not extreme. Brutal.
Okay, right. Well,
Brutal
so
sport.
we don't talk over each other. We take turns. Okay, I'm gonna think of one. We talk to them. We'll think of one.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself.
Rattle
Well,
on, Ruben.
Okay, right. I'm gonna
I've
think
seen
of a
quite a
sport now.
few extreme sports.
Oh, it's hard to think when you're talking.
The hardest one I've
You have a
seen,
headphone in, Levi.
like the most harsh one I can think of is the cheese roll, the cheese run down a hill. That looks horrible. You know when they throw a bit of cheese down the hill, they have to run after it.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. What?
You know when they throw some cheese.
We're meant to be thinking of a sport.
Oh.
So you talk to
Okay,
them.
well basically then, guys.
What are they?
What happens is
Okay, wait.
Sorry.
Explain.
Quick fire.
that was a Mark Hamill joke.
You got to think of like the rules.
So
Rules are-
while
I
the other
rate it
two
has
boys
to
are
be
thinking about that, basically, what
I'll
happens
think- I
on
need
a
to think of
cheese
something
run or a
extreme.
hill, whatever it's called, they lob a bit of cheese down a hill, and these guys just fucking run after it, and they're rolling over each other, and like literally launching themselves down the hill. And they end it all in like slings and broken collarbones and
Yeah.
smashed ribs. I'm like, what on earth would you put yourself?
Okay,
through?
I'll think of an extreme
I mean,
sport.
I like cheese, but not that much. What is your sport, Levis?
It's called fry diving.
Fry diving.
Basically, the rules are there's a massive vat of burning oil. The people have to dive in Whoever can stay in there the longest, get out and be able to run 2 miles
2 miles.
whilst drinking a milkshake wins. So yeah,
So,
you have to see how long you
by the
can
end of
get stay
this-
in burning oil for.
By the end of this, they're blistered. They've got 3rd-degree burns all over their
And they're
bo-
running with milkshake
covering
full
like
bellies.
at least 95% of their body, and they vomit it because they've been drinking loads of milk and running like fuck for 2 miles. They will get there, be severely dehydrated, be like mega burnt, possibly get their burn wounds infected with the amount of time it takes to run 2 miles,
That far.
and feel a bit sick,
What's your sport then?
and be really tired.
Was it radiator surfing?
Oh, that's one.
How does that work then?
Or it could be any hot object surfing.
But how does
So,
that work?
Basically, you're on a volcano.
Do you surf in oil?
Right. Oh,
Well, no,
volcano surfing.
Well, yeah, but you're on
shit.
like lava.
Right.
But
Lava.
it could be that. But
Yeah.
you could also use a radiator.
Right.
Proper hot.
How would the radiator stay on though when you're in the water? And how would it not get like water
You're not on the
damage and
water.
everything? Oh, what?
No, you're on a radiator.
What are you surfing on then?
A radiator.
So you're just standing on a radiator
Yeah. But
in
it's
the
really
middle of
hot.
your room on the
So
carpet.
everybody stands on the big line, and you stand on the radiator. That's the whole sport. And see how they stand.
So
in there.
both of our sports just involve lots and lots of burns.
Yeah.
What mine?
You just stand on there, and as it gets hotter and hotter, look.
So who can
Eventually,
do
it's
it
like
first?
molten rock.
It's a bit like that.
flowing
Run,
through the radiator.
run across fire. I'd like to do that because it doesn't hurt. Apparently, it's
No.
not fast enough.
Wow.
Well,
Wait,
that was-
where's the tab?
What a podcast.
Well, I think we're starting to run out of time now.
And I'll finish it with the.
People will want to be getting off to bed soon.
No, they won't. It's 51 minutes past 7.
Might be listen to it. They might be
It's
listening to it.
bedtime.
They might be listening to it before bed. If they're little
Oh yeah,
podcast.
so a little child might be like, one more video, mummy. I need to listen to the Brutal Bros. And it's an hour long.
No, they're talking about kangaroo testicles.
Yeah, kangaroo nuts.
And then he starts singing the brutal tune. Brittle Bros, Brittle Bros. Oh,
So,
yes.
Reuben's wait, just quickly, Reuben's bits.
I think it's a good time as any to call it a day here. This has been the 5th one, isn't it? We're excited to keep doing these. They should be up every Friday on the Brutal Bros YouTube channel. We have a
Yeah.
Facebook page
please.
now, so go ahead and like that.
We haven't
got
had
a Facebook
any comments or anything yet. It's quite sad.
Yeah, leave us likes and comments and stuff.
Oh yeah, we've
if
got a
you
Facebook
care.
page now as well,
Oh wow.
and it's got the big cover photo of us
I
that
think
we
the
made.
problem is nobody listens.
No, I know people who
The
listen.
more you do it,
No, we just got
the
to keep
more
doing
people will
it.
kind of listen. But you have to promote it as well.
Granddad's listening.
I'll keep forgetting to share it. I'll be, oh,
And we'll
I'm
have
gonna do it.
guests.
Yeah, whoever's listening.
Oh, and also, I really honestly think we should try and film some stuff this next week.
we're
or
gonna
this
have some
week.
sketches out at some point soon. It won't be. We're trying to branch out from just the podcast. We'll do more things.
Yeah,
Sketch-
extra stuff.
sketches.
Brutal Bros can just be like
Scott.
the
The brand.
brand, yeah, exactly, and if they can do many things.
It could do many.
But podcast will be like the main shell.
But the
We'll do
thing
every
to
week.
ask is, what can it do for you?
Nothing probably.
Probably not.
That's like a
productive.
negative word, isn't it?
But
Almost.
Reuben,
that is it from us.
and
Thanks for listening. Levi, play us out.
hang on a second.
Smooth as silk.
Hello. Yeah. I thought we were beginning the podcast then
That's
for a
the end
second.
then.
Really?
Bye then.
See you later, guys.
Have a nice dinner if you haven't had dinner yet.
See you later.
George. Ball's not hot.